Yeah. Would I rather have a daughter or a gay son? I'm not gonna hold you, bro. Both of them would hurt a nigga hard, though. Yeah, next question. I'm not gonna lie, they both, either one. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, that hypothetical loaded question always exposed how homophobia and misogyny shapes our parenting before we even start having kids. This question incentivizes policing the identity of your kid where we're talking about sexuality or gender. See, heteronormativity can be defined as when you normalize heterosexuality in a way that places expectations on gender expressions in terms of is you being modest or you being promiscuous as well as is you being straight or is you being gay. So the question, would you rather have a gay son or thought daughter is one that we have to really unpack with a bunch of intersectionality. You should be asking, would you rather your son take on a little ping or your daughter take on a whole bunch? To me, it's like as a parent, why are you so invested in the sexuality of your kid and not like the safety, the health, the happiness of it? The thought daughter part of the question is rooted in misogyny and sexism that gets you to already think about policing your hypothetical daughter's sexuality don't even exist. Misogyny. Think about who was the first person to pose this question. Would you rather your daughter take a whole bunch of D or your son take a little bit of it? Thought, T-H-O-T, is an acronym that stands for that hoe over there. The term thought itself, some would argue, already incentivizes discrimination against women, which is definition of misogyny, as well as this trivialization of women's autonomy, because how dare you give your body to somebody else? If you do, you that hoe over there. The question is posed as a lesser of two evils. Would you rather have a son that suck a little thing or a daughter that take a whole lot of it? Meant to give shock value and perpetuate homophobia and misogyny in ways that make it normalized. Heteronormativity is so ingrained in our society that you can be a professional basketball player. I'm talking about making multi-millions of dollars and still engage in high school-like banter about gay sons and thought daughters. I'm almost positive, too, that Michael Porter Jr., the basketball player in this clip, is probably a PR nightmare for both the Brooklyn Nets and the NBA because you ain't getting no media training. Bro, you are a goddamn multi-millionaire NBA veteran. You ain't had no media training. As a parent, can you love your child unconditionally? Or is their sexuality or gender performance based on how you love them? Being real, most women that own their sexuality are seen as thoughts. And that's the reason why I'm saying they own autonomy. That man just told the entire Brooklyn Nets base that being a gay man is bad. He just told the entire Brooklyn Nets base that being a woman that owns sexuality is bad. As a matter of fact, I've seen and heard many a times a man being denied and she go from being fine, little fine shit, to being that hoe over there. Because she said no. So we see that the term thought has always already been up for negotiation and debate. Also, why do we never pose the question the other way around? Would you rather have a gay daughter or a thought son?
Yeah.
Don't work the same way, huh? Because we know that in many different instances, having a gay woman plays into the male gaze that's really sanitized and romanticized and really ain't seen no issue. We also know that having a son that's getting a lot, hey man, he ain't seen it something bad too because, hey, you sowing your oats, you living up to the name. Misogyny, patriarchy, heteronormativity, homophobia, all that shit is up in here. And if you don't know what any of those words mean, I encourage you to go and Google them. Education is elevation, and let's do better, especially us as parents.
Yes. It's a lot to unpack there. A very lot to unpack. So do you want to go first, LW?
No, you can go first.
Okay.
You can definitely go first.
I like to first express a lot of these questions about gender and sexuality. I'm just going to be blank. That is because we're in a patriarchal world and we live by toxic masculinity. Okay, so that strives these conversations. 2, thinking about your child's sexuality. Your child is putting adult issues on a child. We should not be thinking about our child's sexuality. And so much of American culture is sexualized that is forced down these kids' throat when they're not ready. We all know. I'm a 40-year-old woman, and I'm going to let you know this right down the rip. What I liked at 16, I did not like at 22. What I liked at 22, I did not like at 33. What I liked at 33 changed me at 38. At 40, so I had to get to know myself and understand that what I liked and what I was into, and it did not define me and who I was. And I want to make this also clear that we put a lot of us on a black woman, but women are more likely to accept their children's gender and sexuality a lot more than fathers. But I just think that in America, we put too much adult issues on children that they shouldn't be focusing on, that they should be children. And as a parent, you're supposed to love your child no matter what. And just because how you perceive them or how they're raised, just because a little boy play with Barbies don't mean he's gay. Just because a little girl is a tomboy don't mean she's going to be a stud. But we should not be looking at these things when we are raising our children. But sexuality and the grown-up world and social media and the internet have put these things in these kids' face. So we have basically put our problems on children. No, I understand a child is trying to find themselves. We should not be transitioning children. But if they want to, if they show us certain things, like, okay, he may like a dress or a pink, that don't mean I automatically want to start the process of him being a transgender. We got to let these kids be kids.
Amen.
And as parents, we love our kids no matter what.
Yep.
But this toxic masculinity and these adult issues that we putting on our children,
especially within the black community,
America has a problem of segregation. And what I mean is we like to separate ourselves from individuals. It does not matter. It could be class, gender, or race to feel a certain power.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we're raising our kids to also follow this same thing. And me as a black woman, I understand that toxic masculinity, this patriarchy that we live in, can be detrimental to everybody else around
And
it.
especially to our boys.
Especially to our boys. Especially black boys that do not have black fathers around.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't got nothing to do with me, boo.
And some of them, it's not that they don't have black fathers around. It's just the simple shit of what the black father is spewing to this kid.
Yeah, like, could you imagine those black fathers?
Like, exactly.
I have never, like, when you sat there and said, when they posed the question of would I rather, the furthest thing of my mind was thinking of my child's sexuality, sexual orientation, because it's my child.
I don't know.
And because no matter what, it's my child. I'ma love my child. And when the world turns their back on my child, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah. That's the way it should be. You know, especially hearing Michael Porter Jr. People who don't know Michael Porter Jr., he plays in the NBA. He's forward for the Denver Nuggets.
And hold on, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but to be honest, y'all can't see these individuals, but both of these guys look like they may be pan.
Well, both of these guys, let's just say,
be saying what they're saying, they look like they swing both ways, always, every way.
Both of these niggas look soft.
I don't want to say that.
But that's just what it is. They look soft. Sorry. Like, I'm not going to say...
So for them to be saying they don't want a gay son, I'm like, bro, but you...
Y'all look soft. And Michael Porter Jr. is like 6'10". I was just like, if he ever said something stupid to me, I would just slap that tall ass nigga in the face. I would dare him to do something. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm not for violence. That's not me.
But
anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not surprising for him to sit there and say that. Even now, the part that actually I found more interesting wasn't about the gay son comment.
Yeah.
It was actually a daughter saying, he said a daughter would hurt his heart.
Yeah,
having
like
a daughter
or a gay son, like.
Either or. I was like, how does that hurt
So
your heart?
all he wants is a straight boy.
Yeah, that's all he wants.
So he don't even want a girl because he think we're just gonna be hoes?
Exactly.
He gonna raise a hoe?
Exactly.
Why? Cause he a hoe?
Probably.
Damn.
And there's just a lot of there was a lot for me. That was the more interesting part. It was just like, even your daughter? I said, hold on. I said, I get like for a straight guy, for a dumb straight jock. I was the gay son. I got. You know what I'm saying? No problem.
But not a daughter.
But a daughter, and mind you, Michael Porter Jr. is young. He is 27 years old.
You know what that is? It reminds it feels like how he value women. He don't value women for nothing but probably hoes and thoughts. And that's most likely because of the women he's running through in his profession. And that's why he don't want a daughter. Because I got a daughter and she's great. She's smart. She's wonderful. She learns so quickly. Like, oh my gosh. Like, raising a daughter was like great.
The reason he feels that way.
Because he values women. He doesn't see the value in a woman.
Not only does he devalue women, but now the one also I didn't mention this part. But Michael Porter Jr., his father also played in the NBA. So his father has probably already conditioned him to already know how to move in the NBA, especially when it comes to these girls.
And we already know, women that go after them NBA players, we already know what they looking for. Not saying all of them, but we know majority. So they're being conditioned that women are thoughts and hoes because they're being around nothing but women that are throwing themselves over them because of money.
Because of the money.
Because of money. They haven't been around real, actually, women.
No, they have not. They have not.
So, yeah. And that's another thing. How your life is how you perceive certain things. Looney has said it to me so many times that a black man raised with a black man has a different view on things than a black man not raised by a black man or a male in their life. And that can always shape. But we're talking about these children here. The next generation, our future. And guys, just like our parents had to be careful with us and we see where it is, we got to be careful and knowledgeable about how we're raising them. And at the end of the day, we know better. We know how it feels to have emotionless contact and advice and assistance with our parents. So we should raise our kids a lot better. And one thing we should not be having is sexual or gender conversations or putting certain things in these children's face because they're learning themselves. This is what growing is. When you spew certain theories, you will shape the mind of a child.
Absolutely. You will.
They will find themselves.
Either way. And the thing is, it's like...
Just like you find yourself. No matter what your parents said, you are who you are.
Absolutely.
You are who you are.
Yeah. And we're like one of the first generation of black kids to actually kind of break away from our parents' expectations and views.
Yeah, just following the norm.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, the reason is because we've had so much change and I'll say like we've had strides within our community where we're doing more things. We're in different places. We're at a different place than we were 50 years ago. Yeah, definitely. And so it's just like we that generation who had those kids, and then the next generation, their kids had this generation of kids, which is us. Yeah, and I was just like, and now and most of us are having our kids, still having kids, or had our kids. Yeah. And now they're going into, their whole cycle. Yeah. And it's completely different because it's like, even myself, when I look at like, say my cousins who were like 16 and 12, mind you.
Yeah.
And they're so different from me. And because of the simple fact there's a 21-year age gap between me and them, even though we're, these are my own, these like really my, not my only, but they are on my mother's side, my only blood first cousins. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I have is those two. And, there is miles between us.
Yeah.
As far as knowing each other, how they grew up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a disconnect. Mostly because, one, I wasn't around, and two, because of when they were born. They were born in the 2000s.
Yeah.
They were born in the mid-2000s, 2010s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's completely, it's a completely different, they've grown up in a completely different world than I have.
Yes.
They have. And it's just like, and how they're raised is probably different because they're finding themselves as well.
Yeah.
And so they have to sit here and try to navigate who they are, where they're going, all this extra stuff.
I'm going to just get a little personal with y'all, but I'm going to say my daughter. I remember when Justice came to me and she said, "Ma, I think I'm gay." So we all know I'm straight. So when she told me that, I was like, "Oh, okay, really? Okay." That's all I said. Okay. In my head, I was like, I don't know, but hey, that's my daughter. I love her, my only child, whatever. Do you know, about a couple of years, she came back down the line and she had her first boyfriend. And I said, "Well, Justice, I thought you was gay." She's like, "No, Mom." She said, "I ain't gay." She said, I can't really, get with a girl like that. But if I would have sat there, yeah, I'm not going to say what she really said. Yeah, you already know it. She can't eat pussy.
I know.
But what the point of that story is letting you know, if she would have came to me and she would have said gay, and I would have went against the gay, I think I would have drove her more and more into that. But since I was agreeable and I was with her no matter what, she found herself and found out what she really liked. That was just maybe a phase which we go through as we're growing. But no matter what, I was supportive to my daughter. And she is not gay. She's in college now. She is straight. And I wouldn't care no matter what. But that is what I'm saying. You got to let these kids grow in this over-sexualized world that we created for them.
Yes. It's difficult. One thing I always found creepy about, like, especially with black parenting, it's just a creepy thing because I feel like black parents sometimes, even some of my friends like who have kids, no. But I'm just saying, like, like people that I've known in my past and everything else, and they say the things they say. I'm just like, why are you this invested in what your child may or may not be into? We don't know at those ages because kids are just developing. Their brains aren't even like fully developed.
Now,
biologically.
Guys, as parents, we provide guidance. We don't sway and determine their way. You guide them to the direction.
At the end of the day, if you're doing that, that's because of your uncomfortability
and
insecurity and ignorance on the topic, because you do not want to seem like you don't know anything to your children. Black parents are very prideful. So I was just like, and most of the time they cannot, it's hard for them to admit that they were wrong, especially to their child, because they feel like it's a letdown. It's like my child's getting the best of me somehow.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's not that. It's showing your child that you're human, that you make mistakes, that you don't always get it right.
Yeah. And guys, I know we live in this patriarchal world and they weigh more on sons, But guys, your daughters are gorgeous, smart. They'll be the ones. I'm gonna let you know this right now. When you get old, guess who's taking care of your old ass? It is your daughter. It's not your son, boo. It's your daughter. Please don't diminish the birth of little girls.